Hola y bienvenidos y bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo del canal. Estamos aquí de vuelta con Genshin Impact. Soy yo, Herrero, y hoy os traigo la continuación de la misión, en este caso de Arconte, del capítulo 3, acto 4, el rey DESHRET y los 3 peregrinos. Y hoy nos toca Llantos en el hospital de Eleazar. Así que lo primero que tenemos que hacer, ya sabéis todo lo que ha pasado hasta ahora, lo resumimos en que estamos buscando el enigma de los eruditos que han desaparecido. Y junto a Cyno parece que hemos descubierto que hay insurgentes y demás que están controlados por, yo digo que es Dottore. Así que vamos a ver porque, ojo, parece que continúa la aventura y a ver un poquito qué pasa por aquí. Aquí está Alhacén.
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here musing.
Bueno, aquí está el que faltaba, ¿no?
Where have you been anyway?
Él pasa de todo.
Hey, what's with the silence?
Es Al.
You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up for that.
Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname!
Adelante, no te voy a detener.
Never mind. Paimon's got nothing. There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy. It makes it so hard.
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So clearly, I stayed in the village to investigate. Anyway, you plan to leave Aru village and keep searching for the truth of this matter, yes?
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here, so we thought that we might as well take the search elsewhere.
Al pasa de nosotros.
Enough with the silent treatment!
¿Nos estás dando tiempo para pensar?
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
Alhacén, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru village. Bold of you to question our choices.
Tienes razón.
Yeah, you're all talk!
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished.
Really? Paimon doesn't believe you.
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts. Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all had
A ver qué han
missed.
encontrado, importante.
Huh? Right here in the village?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone.
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean some of them lied to us?
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, these people have
Vale,
their
o sea que están
reasons.
ocultándonos algo, ¿no?
Remember what Candace said? Most people in Aru village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's because whether the Scarlet King or the Dendro Archon has power is of little significance to them. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. That's why you believed there was no further information to be found in this village.
Vale, entonces encontraremos más información preguntando a quienes ya conocemos.
Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived. The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, any external factors introduce unpredictability into the equation.
Vale, pues ya sabemos lo que tenemos que hacer.
Those eyes, those fierce eyes. You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Cyno's authority and strength.
Right. You were asking about the
Vale, yo lo de los guardias me voy a quedar en plan de esta sabe algo.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are Scarlet King fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals' next target.
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so...
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurs at night.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then
Vale.
why would she lie?
Porque no quiere meterse en líos.
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself.
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me. If so, it's best if I stay out of this.
We're on it.
Déjalo en nuestras manos. Vamos nosotros y a ver qué averiguamos. Vale, pues ya sabéis con quién tenemos que hablar, así que la cosa está... Estamos al lado. Vamos a venir por aquí de tranqui y vamos a buscarla para hablar con ella. Vamos a llamar a la puerta.
Miss
toc.
Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
Mr. Alhacén, I'm aware of where you stand, but how can I make sure that your friends think the same as you?
Huh? What do you mean?
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you want. Go on. Earn her trust.
Is it really that simple?
Hombre, simple no es, pero vale.
May I call you Traveler?
Claro. Hola, Sunny.
Hi, Traveler. I want to ask you something. Do you think the resurrection of the Scarlet King can truly change Sumeru for the better?
No.
Why's that?
Porque solo traerá conflictos.
That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends.
Vale.
That's why I'm willing to talk to you. Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to ask something like this. Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
No puedo prometerlo, pero haré lo que mejor que pueda.
Yeah, we came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. But even so, we've met lots of people from different places. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for...
Vale, parece que nos abre y sale,
I
¿no?
want to trust you. My apologies for posing my questions like that. But to be honest, I didn't expect you to come back for more information.
Alhacén told us you have your reasons. It's okay, we understand.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in the Scarlet King. I don't belong to either side.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Parece que sí.
Some people can be so narrow-minded.
Aquí estamos
when it
hablando de
comes to
linajes, de
bloodline and
creencias, de todo el
beliefs.
problema que está pasando en el desierto y por
makes
fin
no
tenemos un
difference
poquito de
what I
explicaciones
say
de
or
todo
how
lo
I
que está
behave.
pasando
Slowly,
de la mano en este caso
I
de
just
Shani.
stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. All I want is to live my life in peace. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone. Until now.
You can tell them. I'm sure he'll keep your secret.
All right. I'll tell you what I told Alhacén. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear strange crying sounds in the night.
There are ghosts?
No.
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far away in the distance. It used to be louder and more frequent. But ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's a bud. Because we're in the middle of a desert, he would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
Vale, ¿sabes de dónde vienen los sonidos?
There's really nothing around these parts.
Un viejo hospital cerca de la
I
aldea,
think
vale.
they used to use it for treating Eleazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
Tenemos que ir a ver ese hospital.
Yeah, let's go.
Vale, pues parece que en el hospital pueden haber pruebas importantes. Así que a eso que nos vamos. No sé si habrá algo cerca, vamos un momentito aquí a ver el mapa, pero básicamente podemos venir hasta a este trocito aquí para avanzar un poquito, ¿vale? Aún así es un área que aún no habremos investigado apenas, así que el objetivo obviamente es venir por aquí y avanzar hacia el hospital. Vamos a ver con qué nos encontramos ahora. Me está flipando mucho, ojo. ¿Esto? Aquí estoy explorando una vez, creo.
Worthless.
Vale, fuera. Vale.
Oh, is this the place? It's in terrible shape. And there's
forgotten. An ideal place to hide people.
Vale, este ya está. A ver, el tema es, aquí veo varios cofres y veo ilichuls y enemigos más comunes. A miedo me da lo que sea que esté pasando por aquí. Aquí había un dendróculos, vamos aquí a acabar primero con los monstruos.
Disappear. Worthless. Boring. Worthless.
Bueno. Vale, hemos quitado el escudo, vamos a por él a golpe de tiro. Ya sabéis, cuando no es suficiente, tiramos la balista, cambiamos aquí un retín, lo intentamos interrumpir, cambiamos el hilo y esto está hecho. Bueno.
They were easier to deal with than Paimon had expected.
¿Qué esperabas?
Super strong bandits? Or monsters taller than buildings dropping? He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
Vale.
This is the one.
Elemento dentro. Y lo activa. Y se quita la barrera. Ok. Vamos a ver qué hay
Let's go
dentro.
in and take a look.
Vale. Revisan cuidadosamente el hospital abandonado.
Hey, Ethan, we haven't found squat. Are you sure we aren't wasting our time here?
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then, I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, he even brought a book to read? What are you reading? Let Paimon see!
Okay, sure.
Huh? The natural...
Está leyendo un libro de
position.
física.
So, you got that?
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya!
Paimon indignada.
How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this.
Deberías de leer un libro de vez en cuando.
Hey, Paimon's your Tibet travel guide. Paimon knows plenty of useful stuff already.
Eso no lo
And
sabes.
anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so complicated.
De acuerdo, de acuerdo. Paimon es la mejor. Vale, ya se ha hecho de noche. Vamos a ver qué pasa ahora con el cambio. Me mola bastante, lo que estamos viendo con este Misión de Arconte. Paimon se está quedando dormida. Vaya.
What was that sound?
Ha sonado algo raro ahí
There it
dentro.
is.
Ahí está.
It's coming from that direction.
Vale. Vamos a ver.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
It's from below.
But there's no way we can get down there.
Something is off about the interior here.
Vale. Pasillo oculto. Bueno. Esto pinta muy bien. ¿Y esto qué es?
As I thought, there's a hidden structure.
Wow. It's like
Un
they
hospital
tucked
escondido.
another hospital into this one. Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms around.
Vale, vamos a seguir explorando. Vale.
Evil conquering.
Vamos allá.
Fire hazard!
Ways to the wicked.
Time for a light show!
Vamos allá. Y fuera esto. Vale. Yo creo que aquí la clave sería ponernos un poquito al Traveler. Pero espera, no me voy a quitar Xiao. Me quita Diluc.
There's still a long...
Voy a echar de menos a Diluc. Poca broma. Vale. Vamos allá. Fuera uno. Fuera dos. Y fuera tres. Vale, ya están los tres. Me está molando mucho esto de investigar por aquí la zona. Está muy top. Y ojo, venimos por aquí. Usa llave antigua para abrir la mesa de noche. No la tenemos. Entiendo que la llave estará aquí, ¿no? Vale. Vale, esto es comidas. Turnos de esta semana. Yo creo que aquí estuvo el amiguito... Yo creo que aquí estuvo Escaramucha,
Look, there's someone over there.
Hay que tener cuidado.
Good idea. Let's approach him slowly without...
Vale, vamos a acercarnos con cautela a ver qué pasa, a ver quién es este hombre y por qué está aquí.
Wait.
Alhacén se queda igual. Eres...
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. But he looks too young to be anyone's grandfather. Also, why is he the only one here?
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No. And that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life.
Entonces, ¿por qué está así?
Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that we might be too late. Looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. Perhaps they simply didn't have time to come back for him. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. In their haste, they failed to notice Razak hiding in a corner. The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living proof.
Huh? Why do you say that?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port Ormos. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Lo del colegio, ¿no? Ah, no, lo de los escenarios. Que se volvió loco, de verdad, cuando peleamos. ¡Oh! El tipo de los eremitas que se volvió loco.
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting the same way.
Correct. The academia is behind all of
Vale,
this.
la academia está detrás de todo, ojo, aquí la cosa se complica a unos niveles brutales. En primer lugar, la academia difundió el falso rumor de que el rey Escarlata iba a resucitar, haciendo hincapié en la participación de los guardianes de la aldea, es decir, los eruditos locos desterrados de Haru.
These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru village leapt into action. Unbeknownst to them, of course, through rounding up the scholars, they were actually helping the academia. As well as being able to exploit the radicals for their own ends, this scheme has one further advantage to the academia. All the risks and responsibilities are offloaded onto the Scarlet King's followers. Life for the desert dwellers has been brutal ever since the Scarlet King's death all those years ago. Beneath the surface, feelings of desperation are widespread. Many would give everything they have for the prospect of something better. Anyone looking to exploit that for their own ends simply, even if complications arise, people will see that those involved are all followers of the Scarlet King, and look for no further explanation than differences of belief. A deep-seated mistrust of the desert and everyone in it by the rest of Sumeru will make sure of that. The notion of an academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may seem like a simple strategy, but it is able to work wonders under Sumeru's current circumstances.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's in line with the village chief's theory, too. But there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the academia that brought the scholars to our village in the first place?
¿No?
Why does it want them back now?
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. The scholars' identity. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And finally, they become missing persons.
Ya veo.
An exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. But when someone becomes a missing person, that is brought into question. If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them. That makes missing people an ideal resource.
Resource? For what exactly?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean canned knowledge comes from people's
Claro,
brains?
bueno, lo que vimos cuando el
With
día
the
marmota.
technology of the Sumeru academia, it's entirely possible. Perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is...
So, the human brain... Nope, nah, Paimon doesn't want to think about this.
¿Cómo conoces este tipo de tecnología?
I'm the academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their projects. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But something went wrong in the process. Or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule for himself.
Paimon's a little confused. Can they just use anyone's brain?
La mayoría de los eruditos se han vuelto, incluso puedo decir que nuestros conocimientos están relacionados con los Fatui, con el Doctor y con Escaramucha. Lo estamos usando para convertir a Escaramucha en un dios.
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer.
La academia necesita personas que hayan contactado a la conciencia divina.
That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. Extracting canned knowledge is just one of the extreme measures they turn to. However, I can't help but wonder, what do they seek to gain from divine knowledge? The academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge, but what is their ultimate goal? I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail. It seems like my way of thinking is too different from theirs.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this forbidden stuff?
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly interested in gods, so I don't share their degree of zealotry. Extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects? If this is the direction of academic progress, then the academia may as well shut its doors.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course. The academia's actions run contrary to their rules. Whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. If those lines are crossed, the rules and order that govern everything in the world will be destroyed. This matter needs to be corrected, just like fixing a typo in a book.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you felt sympathy for those poor people?
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are a little more restrictive than that. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Teyvat as well. What do you plan to do about that? Save every last person?
Probably not. Paimon's not sure.
Tus intenciones son más específicos y personales.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into
Él hace lo
strength
que
or
quiere, esa es
heroism.
buena.
The divine knowledge capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing to take action for the sake of a few strangers.
Paimon's been wanting to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the academia, but you're not one of them. You're their weirdo.
You're probably right. Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of being the odd one out. Uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
Wow, that's a great way to think about it. Paimon's really impressed. If only Miss Shani had a similar mindset, her life would definitely be a lot easier.
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing more to it than that.
Bueno, ¿qué hacemos con esta persona?
He won't
Importante.
last long if we leave him here. Let's take him with us. We'll work out our next step after we return to Aru village.
Vale, pues con esto lo tendríamos un poquito. Ahora hay que regresar a la casa de la aldea de Haru. Pero permitidme que explore un poquito esto. Que hay muchas cosas. Por aquí hemos entrado, aquí están los jarrones, aquí está la cubertería deteriorada. A ver. Cuenco de azúcar ennegrecido. Vale, aquí está la llave antigua, ¿no? Entiendo que esta llave es para la puerta. ¿No? Aquí creo que lo podemos desbloquear. Vale, pues vamos a desbloquear esto con la llave antigua a ver qué pasa. El mueble está abarrotado de ficheros. Pasean la vista por los títulos, pero parece que no hay nada más que registros e historias médicos. Cierran los cajones decepcionados. Bueno. Pista de tesoro. Habas, sexo varón, profesión agricultor. Piel escamosa. Úlceras. Primera semana de hospitalización. Yo creo que aquí está Doctor metido, ¿eh? Vale. Tras 20 semanas de tratamiento, la nueva piel del nuevo brazo izquierdo de paciente se han recuperado. ¿Nueva piel? Su estado mental sobrepasa cualquier parámetro normal. Se han producido varios intentos de abandonar la zona de atención. Declaró que su motivación fue que la voz divina me guía. Se cree que el sujeto tiene tendencias delirantes. Es posible que la voz divina que describa tenga que ver con los fenómenos de resonancia de la estructura topográfica interna de las dunas. Esto debería investigarse para evitar cualquier impacto externo, reforzar supervisión. Protocolo de tratamiento. La segunda fase del experimento D está empezando a dar resultados. La siguiente fase, objetivo de los órganos del sujeto 4. Tras un examen exhaustivo, el sujeto 3 es el mejor material para tercera fase. Yo creo que esto básicamente es de... O sea, este escaramucha, ¿eh? Notas del médico. Todos los sujetos tienen algo en común, nivel de concentración mental muy alto en el cuerpo, lo cual está correlacionado positivamente con la gravedad de la enfermedad. Tras el experimento D, los niveles de concentración se redujeron y los sujetos informaron por sí mismos de una reducción de sus síntomas. Es razonable la hipótesis de que existe una relación causal entre los niveles de concentración elemental y la enfermedad de Eleazar. Vale, aquí está explicado todo. Conclusión, que es lo importante. Debemos de prepararnos para experimentos a largo plazo. Vale. Vale. Espera. En el futuro debe haber más discusión sobre la investigación de tal. Los humanos tienen un potencial ilimitado, aunque pueda parecer una insensatez viniendo de alguien como yo que se dedica a investigación. Con el aporte suficiente podría llegar al nivel de un dios, como le gusta decir al sujeto. Esto está hablando de los Fatui. Quizás sea... Yo tampoco lo entiendo. Podrían ser fuentes de agua subterránea o actividad de criaturas. Vale, aquí está, antes de que yo naciera. Vale, hemos conseguido un logro. Así que vamos a inspeccionarlo. Entiendo que esto es de maravillas del mundo. Vale, nadie desea mencionar su nombre o recordar sus acciones pasadas. Pues ya está. Conseguido el trofeito extra. Ahí lo tenemos bien hecho. Y bueno, por aquí yo creo que ya nos podemos ir un momentito a la aldea y continuar un poquito con nuestro objetivo. De nuevo, ya sabéis, venimos al teletransportador de la aldea de Haru y automáticamente entiendo que... No, tenemos que acercarnos, vamos allá. Vamos para adentro. Vamos a contarles lo que hemos visto. No creo que hablen de lo que hemos encontrado en el documento, ya que es algo extra. Pero bueno, lo hemos hecho. Vale, hemos vuelto. A ver qué pasa aquí. Vale.
What's the situation?
Who's this?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather. Nevertheless, he's one of the people we're trying to find.
Le explicamos todo lo del hospital abandonado y las conclusiones a las que hemos llegado.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Eleazar hospital served as the academia's site for extracting divine cant knowledge.
Eso parece.
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru village, since divine cant knowledge has been in circulation for a while now. Yet, they fled once we were headed to the village, almost as if they knew we were on their trail.
Yeah.
We may have a mole in our midst.
Un infiltrado.
One of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the academia.
Huh? Are our friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue.
¿Has descubierto algo?
Cyno, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference. I have my reasons.
So what you're saying is... Cyno's the mole. Interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Alhacén, since you were always acting alone.
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Cyno isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are, simply put, the academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing
Está
their
diciendo que
modus
está como
operandi,
controlado, ¿no? O sea,
wouldn't you
que
expect them to take
están
precautions
averiguando todo lo
against
que se
you?
incorpora en su mente.
If you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbaha day. On this day, the academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing the thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra,
Vamos, que
his
está acerca de
activities
él.
throughout the day.
You're saying that the Academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the Akasha.
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow, your destination.
It predicted my every move.
The Academia has been watching you longer than you think.
So that's how it is. Cyno adheres to his principles so strongly that he's actually a thorn in their side. Tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the Academia. They need scholars who are easily pliable and mindlessly go after
Claro,
anything
aquí
they
la
can
academia lo tiene
profit
todo
from.
controladísimo, ¿eh?
Cyno, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally you are.
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
Exacto.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess where they went.
Whoa, you bounced back fast.
There is always an opportunity for safety after danger passes.
Oh, so that's how it is! If the Academia is trying to avoid Cyno, then the safest place would be...
¿Dónde ha estado Cyno?
Yep, that's right!
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going.
Te has vuelto más inteligente, Paimon. Vale.
I must
Pues
go.
parece que tenemos que hacerlo.
There's also something I want to investigate.
Vale.
Let's go, guys!
Please, wait! I want to go too!
You want to go too? If so, you have to promise you'll stay safe.
I want to find Grandpa. I promise I'll be careful and not cause any trouble.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Cuenta con nosotros.
Hey, let's go! Remember, Paimon feels like we're missing someone, though.
Vale. Vamos a alcanzar a Cyno y a ver qué está pasando por aquí. Me está gustando mucho cómo avanza esta trama. Realmente se han currado muchísimo todo lo que tiene que ver con todo esto. Y Cyno, por lo visto, se ha venido por aquí. Así que vamos a buscarlo. ¡Hey, Cyno!
So, where do we go from here?
Cyno, ¿recuerdas qué recorrido hiciste?
Yes. After leaving the village,
Vale,
we should
recto
head
por el
straight
desierto.
toward the desert.
Pues vamos allá.
I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
Yep.
Nos vamos a seguirle.
One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert, but I was the one who brought him back.
Vale. Vamos ahí con Cyno. ¡Vamos, Cyno! Vale.
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand. Looks like we'll need to roll up our
Pues
sleeves.
acabar.
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work.
No es momento de quejarse, Paimon.
Okay. So, we have to dig it out? Whatever's down there, it looks like it's buried really deep.
Vale. Encuentran objetos escondidos bajo la arena.
These are likely fragments of an Academia-developed device, something akin to a headset. Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted this way, because there are device fragments scattered around here. Let's split up and search the area. Chances are that we'll find other things nearby.
Vale. Vamos a investigar. Tenemos que cavar en la arena. Vale, estamos cavando aquí en la arena. Por suerte no tardaste mucho en desenterrar otro instrumento cerca.
Is this what we're searching for?
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
How did it end up buried in the sand? They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
¿Atacados?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Don't worry, your grandpa's gonna be fine.
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation or dehydration. which means that they left fairly recently.
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. Given that the device had been entirely... I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Vale, estoy de acuerdo.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone far.
Vale, pues parece que aquí toca meternos de lleno en el desierto.
Ugh, but running on sand is so tiring.
But you're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Ugh, of course it is.
Vamos a ver qué pasa con Cyno.
Voices, over there. It sounds like an argument.
Vale,
Whoa, you have really good ears.
ok.
Don't get any closer. They'll notice us.
Dia's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen in.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us.
You're one of us. We would never lie.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do.
I knew it. That's our Dia.
Dia? Why would you? Dia!
Hey, what are you doing?
Huh?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa? Why are you on their side?
Well, look who's here.
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru village?
Oh.
So, this is the great General Mahamatra. Dia, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew. Seen for yourself. I have the means and methods, and my ideals are far more admirable.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
It doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing could deter us from
Vale,
the
estos
grand
quieren
mission
resucitar al Rey
of
Escarlata.
resurrecting the Scar.
Face the facts, Raman. It's not
La
gonna
corta ahí de
happen.
lleno.
You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc taught you nothing about placing hopes in a ruler?
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of the Scarlet King. Whether I live by the edge of the sword or in peaceful comfort, my soul will always carry.
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring the Scarlet King back to life.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose in life.
Están
Even if
devotos.
Even if it'll expose you to the academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites? Your Eremites, which you've worked so hard for all these years?
Yes. We've waited a long time
Pues
for
nada,
this
parece
day
que
to
están
come.
dispuestos a
The
resucitar al Rey del
sun and
Desierto.
the moon no longer shine here. All you see now is cracks in this desiccated land. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the Academia's forces and fight our way beyond the
Todos
wall
piensan en
of
destruir la academia y
Samiel.
penetrar en el muro de Samiel.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The academia controls the entirety of Sumeru. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're also against the academia, but neither of them are as arrogant as you are.
They look more like pawns of the Academia to me. Why would I listen to anything the people of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata have to... Filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed the Scarlet King.
It's impossible to communicate with someone so hostile. Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia?
¿Alhacén?
These people have no value as bargaining chips. But I could be persuaded to take their place as your next host. These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their current scribe, and will be...
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade places with the hostages, do you?
Precisely. Any wise person would gladly accept my offer.
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars, perhaps even find out the truth.
Think you can talk me over with that confident look of yours?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces against the academia.
You were their scribe. What do you have against the academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in the Scarlet King, and the same applies to the academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the academia's way of doing things?
You academia scum.
Bueno,
Every
parece que
last
la
one of you
conversación no
is
está llegando a
nothing
buen
but a
puerto.
hypocrite, just like everyone else on the other side of that wall. I've made myself clear enough. I won't...
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said?
I never make empty promises.
You know you're making a dangerous decision, right?
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what
Vale,
about
está diciendo se
me?
confía en ella.
We've known each other for years. Of course I do.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the academia, you need to steel yourself.
An arm from the Flame Mane. You've piqued my interest. But what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dia. We're mercs. And mercs don't tend to live long unless they have their wits.
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the village keepers together.
Let's do it right here then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate! He just wants to make things more difficult!
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Raman, I'm holding up my end of the deal here. You'd better not let me down.
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
¿Qué dices?
No! Dia! What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it!
Ya.
Dia! Run!
Momentazo.
Stop!
Vale, Raman
What's
entra en
wrong?
razón.
Can't do it?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own. You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and leave. Meet me in the desert at noon tomorrow.
Vale. Pues nada, parece que esto continúa. Ha estado guay la escena, me ha molado muchísimo. Es lo que digo, se han currado muchísimo la trama de Sumeru. Me está enganchando y lo que digo, me están comentando los subs, me está comentando aquí la gente que el tema de las secundarias, algunas son para flipar. He visto la raza del Varuna, que ya la hemos hecho. Y creo que hay mucho contenido realmente que hacer y muchas cosas que hacer aquí con Genshin, así que hay que ponernos a tope. De momento, lo que digo, el plan es antes de que salga ACTO, terminar con todo esto, poner con las legendarias, el encuentro de HISTORIA y muchas misiones de lo de la floresta, así que vamos allá. No vuelvas a asustarnos así, por favor.
Okay, I'm sorry, but
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of them. If it came down to it, you would not lose to them either.
I don't doubt it, Cyno. But this is about more than me and them. There's a lot more where they came from. Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are others out there. Wiping them out would do more harm than good.
As you wish.
I'm sorry, Dia. I should have stayed put and listened.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your grandpa, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes? You just might be scholar material.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential to be successful in research.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself?
Él es así.
Okay, let's get moving. We should head back to the village and rest up. Today was just a trial run. Noon tomorrow is gonna be the hard part.
Vale, pues parece que mañana toca el gran día y que mañana tenemos los 8. Pero bueno, aquí Habrá que ver qué tal va todo esto. Volvemos a la aldea. Hemos completado el tema del hospital de Eleazar. Y parece que tenemos la siguiente, que es secretos en el desierto del mar ardiente. Así que vamos a dejarlo por hoy, vamos a dejarlo por aquí en este caso. Espero que os haya molado, que lo hayáis pasado en grande con este nuevo gameplay de Genshin Impact. Espero que os haya gustado y que lo hayáis disfrutado. Y como siempre digo, si os ha molado el vídeo, por favor dejad un buen like, suscribiros al canal para estar al tanto de todas las novedades. Soy José Herrero y nos vemos en la próxima. Adiós.
Wait for them to ask you